There were over 800 cases of e-commerce scams in Singapore in the first 4 months of the year. Victims lost almost 800,000 Singapore dollars. Now, common scams involved electronic products and tickets to events and attractions. And Carousel, Facebook and Shopee were among the top websites prone to fraud. Chubby Jairam Singh takes a look at how consumers can protect themselves when making purchases online. E-commerce is big business in Singapore. It's a market that has been expanding at a compound annual growth rate of 7%, says technology company WorldPay. And revenues could hit $7.4 billion by 2022, a jump of 48%. A PwC study shows that 27% of Singapore consumers shop online via mobile, daily or weekly. While online purchases can be quick and easy, scams continue to be a concern. There were over 2,000 e-commerce scams reported in 2018. 70% of such scams took place on e-commerce platform Carousel. To help reduce the risk of fraud, Carousel is now giving its users the option to authenticate their identities via MyInfo, a government-led service to verify personal data. This is in addition to existing checks that verify users through their email or social media accounts, as well as their mobile phone numbers.
In the case of Carousel, MyInfo allows the Carousel user to be better informed about who they are dealing with, right? And for them to choose who they want to deal with in the digital marketplace, right? So we believe with this information, they would have the tools necessary to choose who they want to transact with.
We want to be an inclusive marketplace. We want our marketplace to be as open as possible for everybody to try their hand at buying and selling. And we think that our job is to provide signals to our users so that they can make wise choices. There are still people today who are not fully comfortable to share their personal information, and we don't want to force people to do that.
During the first 4 months of this year, there were over 800 reported cases of e-commerce scams. Carousel was the top e-commerce site prone to scams. Still, the community marketplace says that the number of fraud cases is just a fraction of their overall transactions.
I think to say that you won't be scammed, I think it's not a guarantee that today that we can afford to give out, but what we are committed to doing is to continue making a lot of investments to try and mitigate the problem, right? So, but at the end of the day, it is a two-way relationship. I think as a marketplace, we are committed to do our part, but the buyers also have to do their part.
The lucrativeness of the online travel industry and Singaporeans' love for travel has also made it a hotbed for cyber criminals. A recent McAfee survey found that more than 1 in 4 Singaporeans have been scammed or nearly scammed when booking a holiday online. The top holiday destinations for Singaporeans that hackers are targeting via potentially malicious sites include Taipei, London, and Bali. So how can consumers prevent themselves from being scammed?
One of the first things would be to only visit sites that perhaps their security software has indicated as being safe. The other thing that they should definitely do is, if the deal looks too good to be true, it probably is, they should always validate that deal with either the provider, the airline or the hotel that is providing the deal. And finally, especially if the user is conducting any work on a public Wi-Fi network, we highly encourage that they use what is called a virtual private network or a VPN. That ensures that any data communication that's happening between their device and the website is always secure. From a behavioral standpoint, don't do things online that you won't do offline.
We find still that consumers all around the world still opt for easy to remember, but also easy to guess PINs and passwords. Password 123 is still a popular password, unfortunately.
E-commerce merchants also have an important part to play to ensure the transactions online are safe. For example, they must ensure that customer details are secured. Merchants should also try to keep themselves abreast with the latest developments in the world of encryption.
For e-commerce merchants, it's important that their product and their services are designed with security on the onset. It's not an afterthought, so build the experience with security in mind. As much as possible, collect only information that is absolutely required in performing your day-to-day business.
In the world today, more and more business is conducted online. To help address the threats and risks facing the payments ecosystem in Singapore, payments giant Visa recently launched a localized version of their security roadmap, which consists of 4 pillars.
The first of which is what we call devalue data. The vision here is that over time we want to eliminate sensitive cardholder information from the payment system. The second pillar is what we call protect data. So if you can't devalue the data, you must protect it. The third pillar is what we call empowering consumers. And the last pillar is what we call harnessing data. There's never been more data shared between merchants and the issuing banks at the time of the transaction. And we think that sharing more information between these organizations will allow for more accurate decisions to be made.
Protecting the security and the integrity of the payment ecosystem is actually a role for everyone, say experts. Regulators, merchants, third-party solution providers, as well as consumers, must all chip in to support the development and growth of commerce and digital payments in a safe and secure way.